Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. And the show is about inspiring you, empowering you, and educating you to live life to the fullest. And I'm very excited about our episode today because I have an extraordinary woman coming into the studio with me. Her name is Amy Porterfield. And if you don't know who Amy is, I'm going to tell you all about her in just a minute. But Amy has made hundreds of thousands of people able to quit their 9-to-5 jobs and experience financial freedom all through online courses. Her story is extraordinary, and she has a brand new book coming out that takes you through step by step exactly how to do it. Don't you want to know this? Don't you want to take her experience that she made so simple, so easy, and figure out your exit plan too, to walk away from that 9-to-5? And the name of the book is 2 Weeks Notice. So she's going to be in here just a few minutes. So make sure that you are here, and everybody stick around till the end, because what we're going to do is I'm going to share some highlights about what's coming up at I Have Today. And then I end every episode with a mantra meditation where we take in everything that we learned today, and you leave the show feeling better at the end than you did at the beginning. So with that, let's talk about what today's intention statement is. Our intention statement today is I have today to create financial freedom with an online course. So let's put that in your awareness right now. What could you be doing? What do you do that you love to do, that you're so good at doing, that you do matter-of-factly and automatically, and you don't think anything of it, and yet people ask you for your advice all the time. They ask for your help and support and your guidance to it. What could you be doing right now that you're already doing that you could turn into an online course and turn it into a business? Amy's got, I'm sure, tons of stories about this, countless stories of all the lives that she's changed. So I want you to think about that today as you're sitting here in this moment, this present moment, the only moment that you have, reflecting on your life. What's working in my life? What would I like to have an experience that's different? And what could I do today to make that happen for myself? So I want that awareness there. And it could be an online course, because guess what? People pay for knowledge, and you have so much knowledge. So that's why I wanted to have Amy on today. She's truly extraordinary. And wait till you hear all about this book. We're going to have a link for it coming up. So make sure you stick around. Okay, where can you catch I Have Today? We broadcast live every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on the E360 television network. We're also streaming on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter right now as well, and YouTube. Now, if you prefer to listen to podcasts, we take this show and we turn it into a podcast, which is available on all streaming platforms. And just search I Have Today with Diane Forster, and you will find it. Now, our intention statements, what we do with those is my awesome team makes the most beautiful graphics. There it is right there. This is already on my profile on Instagram at Diane Forster Official. If you go over and hop over there, you'll see this little button. Oh, there's a picture of me and Amy right now. A little button called wallpapers, and they're all there. And we make these intention statements for you because how you start and develop a new habit and make it stick is through repetition. So I want you to take a screenshot of this and use it as your screensaver on your phone, so that every time you look at your phone 150 plus times a day, you see it. And you have that there for the week. And so over and over and over again, you're seeing I Have Today to create financial freedom with an online course. And so that's there for you. And while you're over there, if you feel called to it, give me a follow. All right. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to hear from our sponsor, the Spifter. And when we're done, I'm going to have Amy Porterfield in the studio with me. So listen to this message now. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Hello, Amy Porterfield. You're actually on mute.
Well, hello there. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to bring you to our audience today and talk about your new book and everything that you're doing. So I'm so excited.
I am too.
Good. Well, I'm going to share a little bit about you with the audience in case anyone's been living under a rock and don't know who you are. Amy Porterfield is an ex-corporate girl turned online marketing expert and CEO of a multi-million-dollar business. During her corporate days, Amy worked with mega brands like Harley-Davidson, as well as peak performance coach Tony Robbins. After one fateful boardroom meeting and witnessing the lifestyle, financial, and work freedom an online business can offer, Amy developed her 9-to-5 exit strategy and never looked back. Through her best-selling courses and top-ranked marketing podcast, Online Marketing Made Easy, Amy has helped hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs turn their 2 weeks notice and train burnout for freedom, income, and impact. Her new book, 2 weeks notice, is about to be released from HayHouse. She's sharing all of her wisdom with us today at I Have Today. So,
yes.
Yay. Okay. All right. So tell us the story. Because you've been in this space, I want to say, for 14 years. You started your business?
I have, yep.
So what happened that day in the boardroom that turned all of this around for you?
So I always say I thought I would be a corporate girl for life. I got out of college, I started my corporate career and had many different types of jobs, like you said, from Harley-Davidson to publishing to landing with Tony Robbins. So I was the director of content development for my very last 9-to-5 job. I got to travel the world with Tony and his team and work on the content that he does on stage, like Unleash the Power Within and Date with Destiny. If you know Tony, you know those events. And it was an amazing job. I had a really great experience. However, there was one meeting, as you mentioned, a very fateful meeting where Tony had brought in a bunch of online business owners, and he was getting more into the online space. And Tony is brilliant at bringing people in who are doing something successful and kind of dissecting how they're doing it. So humbly enough, I was brought into this boardroom in San Diego to take notes. I was there to take notes. I sat at a side table. I wasn't even invited to the main table. It was all men. There weren't women at this specific meeting. And this, oh geez, I could hear my dog in the background. I apologize. Working from home. So this meeting was incredibly powerful because Tony started to talk about, what does business look like for you? And these guys went around the table and all I heard them talk about was freedom to live the life they want, build the kind of business they want, and call the shots. They were talking about spending time with their family and being present and making lots of money and making an impact. And I thought in that moment, I have no idea how they're doing it, but I do not have that kind of freedom and I want it. And from that minute on, I realized I wanted to work when I wanted, how I wanted, where I wanted, and I did not want to have a boss. So from that point till a year later, I built a runway to leave my 9-to-5 job and to start my own business. Now, fast forward 14 years later, and I've built a business where we have generated revenue close to $80 million with over 50,000 students served. And we help people build businesses online. And so that's kind of my story of getting into building my own business.
Wow. So such pivotal moment for you. And I love those moments that are just like, nah, this is it. I'm changing my life and I'm changing my life right now. I like what's happening over there and I want some of that.
Yes.
And I can only imagine working for Tony Robbins would be an extraordinary experience. Just Yes.
It
And
really was. And, for those who are listening, I had an experience which I call the golden handcuffs. I had a really good job. I got paid well. I got to travel. I got to do cool things with Tony Robbins. I mean, on paper, it looked amazing. But my heart told me there has to be something different for me so that I could have more freedom in my life. And so some people are listening right now and they're not making the move because what they have is comfortable. It pays the bills. It's good enough, but
right.
life's too short for anything to be good enough. I wanted an extraordinary life. I wanted something beyond my wildest dreams. And I really do believe that is only going to be accomplished when you become your own boss and create your own freedom.
I 100% agree. And I too always thought I would be a corporate girl. I spent 32 years in advertising and television sales, and my last 20 was at ABC in Chicago, now in San Diego. And it was the same thing, the golden handcuffs. Like, it was a good job. It was a great job in many ways. But there was something more calling me. And my pivotal moment was that suicide attempt in 2011 that woke me up. And I knew, Amy, I knew there was more in me. I knew there was more I was meant to do. And I had a year, I gave myself a year runway too, and just leaped. And I wish I had your book when I did, because I know we're going to talk a lot about this today. And you share so openly and candidly the mistakes, the learning, the failures, which we all go through. But if I would have had this book back then, it would have, hopefully, would have, shortcutted some of those mistakes for me. So, first question is, why this book and why now?
Why this book and why now? Well, first of all, why this book? When I went out on my own 14 years ago, I had no idea how to be an entrepreneur. I actually didn't even have the word entrepreneur as part of my vocabulary. That's
Right.
nothing I really aspired to, but even just a business owner. I looked around and thought, no one's telling me what to do, but at the same time, I have no idea what to do. I don't know how to navigate this. And so I wrote the book that I wish I had 14 years ago, that one helped me create a runway of how to leave a job in a way that's respectable and sets me up to win the minute I leave. And number two, I wanted a guidebook. I wanted someone to tell me, okay, do this first and then do this and then do that. My book actually is not about how to create a business with digital courses. It's just how to create an online business, whether
Yes.
you want to do digital courses or memberships or masterminds or coaching, whatever it might be that you want to do. But there's actual steps you need to take in order to build a very strong foundation. It's no mistake I've been around for 14 years with an $80 million business. It literally is a framework I followed, and that's what I put in the book. So I wanted other women to have a guidebook of how to do this. Now, why now? Well, it has come out at the most perfect time. And I think that's just God guided, because 1.4 million women left the workforce during COVID. They had to go home to take care of their families, which I think is very unfair, because what about the men leaving the workforce to go home to take care of their kids? That we didn't see that shift like we saw it with women. But what's happening is now, as we're getting into a recession or not, there's a lot of debate. Women are looking around thinking, either I have to go back to a job or I stay home, but things are expensive. The world is expensive right now. That's not really an option. Or am I going to follow my dreams and finally do that thing I've always wanted to do on my own? And my goal is to capture them now and say, let's do what you've always wanted to do so that you could have the life that is very, very different than the life you have now. And so the book is coming out at the most perfect time, but I can't really say that was my doing. I just think the universe all came together for that.
I think you're absolutely right. And I didn't know that number. I mean, I knew the number was there. And I agree with you about the golden handcuffs and the fear. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of that expression, but that is what it is. And what I want the audience to hear is, you're risking staying stuck in a life that's unfulfilling, and you don't know how long your life is going to be. That's why our show
Yes.
is I Have Today,
Yes.
versus pursuing your dreams and goals and desires. And like you said, Amy, like you're living proof of the life beyond your wildest dreams. And so if you can dare to do that, but the biggest challenge, and it certainly was for me, I'm a creator, I'm an inventor. I've done a lot, but I did it all sloppily, like I just dove in because that's my nature. People need the steps and they need the strategies and they need the framework, like you said. And when I'm coaching people now very differently, I tell them, these are the next 3 things you need to do. These are the next 3 things you need to do. And they always appreciate it because we're so overwhelmed by everything, all the opportunities coming at us, all the sales pitches and all the things. 70,000 impressions a day are coming at us.
Yes.
So to be able to have something where you can just go, okay, I'm doing step 1, I'm doing step 2, then I have to do this, is so powerful. And I think that especially women who got furloughed or lost their jobs or want to do this and feel like they can't, and it doesn't matter what age they are, whether they have
So true.
just having babies or older. And I'm guessing that most of your audience is women. I don't know what that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I have some amazing gentlemen in my audience, the majority are women. And the thing is, what we have to remember is we are not meant to know this, meaning you're not supposed to know how to do all of this. We didn't learn it in school, and it's not something that just comes natural to us. So I think one thing that stops women from actually going out and starting their own business is they think, who am I to be doing this? Like, I don't know enough. I remember when I first decided to leave my job at Tony Robbins, the first thought I had, like in that boardroom, was I have no skill that would translate into a business. I had only been in corporate. And at the time, my best friend worked with me at Tony Robbins. And I looked at her and I said, you're a writer. You could be a freelance writer. You could start your own business writing. I do not have any skill that would translate. And she looked at me like, are you kidding me? Because now I know, of course I did. So does everybody else. Everyone watching right now, you have something both either professionally or in your personal life that could translate into a business. And I want to walk you really quickly through what I call the sweet spot, which
Yes.
is how to start coming up with an idea
Love
for
it.
a business. And you could start out with a side hustle that you do while you're still in your 9-to-5 job, or you could just go for it and make this your full-time thing when you're ready to quit. But here's how you come up with the initial idea and just kind of start validating it. There's 4 quadrants in the sweet spot. The first quadrant is what skills, knowledge, know-how do you already have? Where have you gotten results? What do your friends say to you when they say, how do you do this? Why does this come so natural to you? Teach me how to do it. Start paying attention and writing down when people come to you for advice or insight, because that is where you're going to start. Your knowledge, know-how, skill set, results you've gotten both in your personal and professional life. You might want to start a business that has nothing to do with what you do in your business life. I have a woman, she was a corporate banker, and she went on to create a business, boudoir photography. So like she went for something totally different because she followed her heart, and she's making a lot of money doing it. So allow yourself to dream, do some journaling, figure out where you really could make a difference. The second quadrant is, who do you want to serve? So is it moms with toddlers that you're going to help get their toddlers who are picky eaters to start eating healthy food? Is it someone just like you, but 5 years ago where you were, and now you're going to help them? Who is it that you want to serve? And start thinking about what are the challenges they have, because your skill set needs to be a solution to the challenges that they have. So who do you want to serve? The third quadrant is where are people spending money? So if you think, okay, Amy, I want to start a business to help people with rocky marriages. I'm a therapist. I want to go out on my own. I want to create programs around helping people connect in their marriages. Well, the question is, are people paying for that? Obviously, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. But you have to say, are there books about it, podcasts about it, digital courses about it? Are people paying to get solutions in this area that you want to help people? If the answer is yes, that's a good thing. Now, this is the one that stops people in their tracks. They'll say, Amy, what I want to do, it's already being done. And it's being done by people that are doing it way better than me. They have huge audiences already. When I came on the scene, I taught Facebook marketing 14 years ago when everyone and their mother was a social media manager teaching Facebook marketing. I
Right.
can promise you there's always space for you if you're consistent and stay with it. So if someone's already doing it, good. That means people are paying for it. That's a great validator. The fourth and final quadrant is what lights you up. Let's not create a business around something we're good at, but we're tired of talking about it, or we're tired of working in that field. It doesn't have to be your end all be all passion, but you need to enjoy engaging in that topic because you're going to eat, sleep, and breathe it for a while. And so again, what knowledge and skill set do you have? Who do you want to serve? Are people paying for what you want to do and what lights you up? This is kind of the big first step of figuring out your sweet spot.
Mhm. I love that so much. And I love the, I'm a life and mindset coach. And so I love the mindset that you put into the book, that you're really holding their hands every step of the way by keeping that in check. And it does have to light you up.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So this is an example for you out there. When I reinvented, started out as a life and mindset coach. And I love it, Amy. I love all the things about it. I love talking about it, speaking about it, writing about it, all the things. But people started coming to me. I started my first show 5 years ago. But women started coming to me saying, will you teach me how to host a TV show like you? I like the way you do it. I want you to help me. And I had a little, something in my mind given to me by spirit that I'm going to launch a television network someday. I got that message 10 years ago. And so when they started asking, I was like, oh, it might be time to pursue this. So guess what I'm doing now? I'm teaching women how to launch TV shows through events, through an online course that I have, and a group coaching training program. We just had an event on Friday, and Amy, I'm so lit up when I'm doing it. I didn't know I'd be going down this path, but apparently this is the way. So that anybody who's listening, this is like real life. What Amy just said is in real life what's happening to me. So if it can happen to me and for me, it can happen for you too.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I believe it is never too late to become the person you are meant to become. And
Yeah.
I work with a lot of younger women, but majority of the women I work with are 40s, 50s, 60s. I have a student, she's in her 60s, and she used to be in corporate and she worked for Gap, Old Navy at the corporate level. She was laid off in her late 50s and no one would hire her, which makes me so incredibly mad when I hear things like that, but
Yeah.
she couldn't get hired. And so she thought, you know what? I've got to change what I'm doing. She was really into arts and crafts and hobbies. And she had like a whole art room. And her husband said, why don't you just dabble in this and kind of see what comes of it? Well, she got really good at something called surface pattern design, where you create your own patterns and then you put it on notebooks and wallpaper and wrapping paper and you could sell it. And so she got really good at that. And everyone started to say, how are you doing this? How are you making money with this? So she decided to teach other women how to do surface pattern design.
Wow.
Over $1 million later in her business over the last few years, in her 60s, her motto is, it's never too late to create. And I really do believe that, because there's some women watching right now, or even men, that think, it's too late for me. I could never start over. Let's say I'm in my 50s. I'm not going to reimagine my life. Why not? Because as you said, life is too short to live a mediocre life. Why not start over now? It's never too late to create.
Wow. It's so true. I'm just putting the name of your book here in the chat here. So true, and such a great story. And I know you have so many of them. What is what's for you has been the biggest challenge?
Mm. The biggest challenge for me was my confidence. I really struggled with this. And quite honestly, that never totally goes away. So here I am with this amazing business, this brand new book, a great life, and I still find myself struggling with this. And I think it comes back to this idea of I am not worthy. And so I struggled with thinking I belonged at the table. I struggled with thinking, well, will people really listen to me? I struggled with thinking, am I smart enough? So when I first started, I left my job and I started creating my content and helping people with social media. That's how I started. I have a very different business now, which, by the way, how you start does not need to be the end all be all. Just get started, and action creates clarity, and new things will unfold to send you down the direction you need to go. But I used to make all these videos in my home office, but never post them. And one day my husband, that was weird. One day my husband said to me, where are all these videos going that you're creating? I see you making videos. Where are you posting them? I cannot find them. And I said, I'm not. And he said, why? And I told him, well, I'm afraid what my old coworkers and Tony Robbins, what they're going to think when they see me put myself out there. They're going to think, who is she? She doesn't know this stuff. This isn't what she did at their 9-to-5 job. And he said, babe, I love you so much, but I got to give you some tough love. They're not watching like you think they are. They don't care. Tony's building an empire. He's not worried about what videos you're putting out there. And your old coworkers are worried about their lives, not what you're doing online.
Right.
And then I was reminded, if they're not paying the bills, they don't get an opinion anyway. Like, we can't let other people stop us from going after what we want. I was so afraid of what they'd think of me that I almost stunted my growth in my business. And so this lack of confidence, thinking I'm not good enough, really plagued me for a long time. But the one thing that got me to where I am 14 years later was my why. So when you're leaving your 9-to-5 job, when you want to do something different, go out on your own, the first thing you need to get clear on is, why do you want it? And a lot of times you start with a very selfish why, which is totally okay. For me, I didn't want to be told what to do, when to do, or how to do it. I did not want a boss anymore. And I had always had male bosses. I didn't want a man telling me what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be on someone else's time or someone else's dime. That was my why. And it felt big to my core. I believed that I could do something about that. So when my worries knocked me down, my why would pick me up. When I didn't feel confident enough, I reached for courage over confidence to just take that leap of faith. Kind of like how you got started. You just went for it. I had to let my why be just a little bit stronger than my worries, and it propelled me to keep moving forward. So the truth is, everything I've done, all the big successes I've had, I've done them scared. Absolutely, with little confidence, but a lot of courage, because I wanted a different kind of life. So anyone watching out there that you think you're not ready, you absolutely will never be ready. You just do it scared. You do it anyway, because you deserve to have the kind of life you want. That is how I got to where I am today. And a lot of strategy, which I outline throughout the pages of the book.
You do. You outline them beautifully. And that is so powerful, because you do it scared. And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
If you haven't experienced it, it's like you said earlier about learning, you don't know in third grade what you're learning in second grade.
Right.
You don't know. You have to. We learn by experiencing, and I don't call them mistakes or failures. Everything is a lesson along the way and feedback. There's no getting it wrong. You just learn as you go. So,
absolutely.
And you feel that fear, and you embrace it. You know that it's a part of it, and that the confidence piece is that approval addiction, and fear of judgment, imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it, and your why drove you over the top. I would say another thing to everybody, because most people, when they come, they do get to the point where, well, it's for a higher purpose, right? I'm here to serve. Is when every day that you don't go after your goals, dreams, and desires, because you're afraid of what other people are going to think, or you're afraid, there's people out there who you're letting down. Like, they're seeking you. They're looking for this. People are looking for this book. They're looking for your expertise. And if you don't take the chance and put yourself out there, that's the people who get hurt from it. So, think about them too.
Yes, so true. My husband always reminds me when I'm feeling bad or feeling stuck, he said, get into service. Think about the other people. What is it that you could do for them? Because it takes me out of my pity party or my worry or whatever that might be. And
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to add that you said was I often teach my students about this concept of the capacity for zero. And the higher your capacity for zero, meaning starting over, the more likely you are to take the leap. I'm not saying you have to start from scratch, but when you're starting a business, you usually start with very little money, no social media following, nobody on your email list, no offer. And if you say, I'm willing to have a capacity for zero, starting over, I'll burn down what I've created to bring it back better, something I really want, the higher your capacity for zero, that understanding that you can always start over, the more likely you are to get going and take risks. So something to think about, because I think sometimes we just need a little bit of kick to say, okay, yes, I'll start over. I'll do this. I'll burn it down and build it back better. And that's how you get started.
That is so fantastic. I'm going to put that on a Post-it note and keep that around,
Yeah.
because if you can have that, the closer you are to that, you will be happy and successful your entire life, because you have the capacity to build something from nothing. You
Yes.
have the capacity to serve. You have the capacity to earn money. That's empowering. Empowering.
Absolutely.
Okay, my phone. That is an angel that just came
I
in
was
here.
going to say that sounds wonderful. I thought we were getting a little background music.
That is so bizarre. I do have a lot of angels, by the way. They do show up.
I bet.
That's so good. Okay, so now you gave us the 4 quadrants, right?
Yep.
So the first thing you have to know is your why. Then what would you do?
Yes. Let's talk about the runway to leave a 9 to 5 job, but
Yep.
in a really good way that feels good in integrity and also propels you for success. So the
Okay.
first thing is, again, figure out your why. No matter if it's selfish or not, it doesn't matter. It's yours and it has to mean something to you. It has to get you up out of bed in the morning. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to choose an exit date. Now, I told you about the meeting I was in where I realized, holy cow, I've never been free and I want that. Well, it was about a 6-month period until I really started to think about, wait a second, I'm going to leave this job. I'm going to do something different. So at that point, I chose an exit date. I knew that if I didn't choose a date and actually share it with a few friends, I would never, ever leave. The job was too comfortable for me to leave at that point. So I chose a date that was 6 months out. I wrote it on a Post-it note, put it on a mirror. And every day when I saw that Post-it note, I said to myself, what's one thing I need to do today that will move me closer to this goal I've set for myself? That
Wow.
might mean I need to make a phone call. I need to listen to a specific podcast, read a book, buy a course, get the knowledge I need to be prepared. I've got to tell you really quick in terms of making a phone call. At one point on this journey, while I was on my runway, on my way out, I found a woman online that had built a business exactly like the business I wanted. She set it up in a way that I thought, that's the kind of freedom I want to go for. That's how I want to impact lives. So I sent her an email and I said, I know you don't offer this on your website, but can I pay you for an hour of your time so I could ask you how you built your business? I'm
Mm,
really curious how you did this. And she said yes. And
wow.
so during my lunch hour, while I was still at my job, the walls were thin and I was nervous someone was going to hear me. So I got underneath my desk. As if someone walked in, I would have been mortified. Got underneath my desk, was whispering on the phone. Okay, can you tell me how you got started? How did you create that product? How did you know how much to charge? I asked her everything. And one thing I love about women is that they don't hold back. And she
Yeah.
just shared everything with me. And that was the call that propelled me into thinking I could do this. Like that, the book is meant to make other people feel like I can do this. And that's what that phone call did for me. And so every day I would look at that Post-it note and say, what do I need to do today to get me closer to that goal? So that's the next step, choosing an exit date. The next thing is you got to look at your financials. The one thing that's going to keep you from actually going out on your own is that you're going to say, you're not going to make enough money. I'm not going to be able to pay the bills. I won't be able to put food on the table. Like, we go to the darkest place possible. And so let's get honest about your finances. A lot of the time, you probably don't need to make as much as you're making in your 9 to 5 job if you're willing to sacrifice that first year. We're not talking about vacations, a new car, renovating the house. It's not going to happen in your first 1 or 2 years of entrepreneurship. Where can you really pull back so that the money you make pays the bills and then gets reinvested back in the business? It's going to be some lean first 2 years. That is normal. So let's get clear on your finances. One of my friends said that he didn't put a exit date on a Post-it. He put a dollar amount. When he had 9 months of living expenses saved, he was out. But he was determined. Like, he saved every penny so he could get out as fast as possible. That might be another way to look at it. And then the next thing that you want to do, from choosing your why to choosing your exit date to looking at your finances, is that you want to get a clear idea of what you might start with. What's your starter idea? Now, notice I didn't say, what's your business plan? Because you do not need a business plan. I've never even seen a business plan before, and I know my peers are not creating one. But we've got to get clear of how you're going to start. For me, I took on a few clients and did social media for small businesses. That's how I got started. That's how I took the leap. Today, my business looks dramatically different. I don't do any one-on-one, but that's how I got started. So let's get clear on a starter idea and just put some ideas together and maybe start a side hustle. So if you're really concerned about, will this really work? Can I really make money? Let's start a side hustle. Use the strategies in my book to start a side hustle that one day you're going to turn into a full-time thing, like 6 months from now or a year from now. So I think a side hustle will give you courage to start kind of playing around with, how would it look if I started to think like an entrepreneur? So that's one thing that really helps. And then the final thing is that I want you to tell 3 people, just 3 people. Not everybody deserves to hear your dreams. Sarah Blakely of Spanx told this story that when she cut off the feet of her pantyhose and built the first prototype of her product, she did not tell anyone, because she knew if she told someone, I've got this crazy idea, here's what I'm thinking, they would tell her all the reasons why this is a wild idea that she should not do. And she said, I was vulnerable enough to believe them at the time, so I did not tell them. So only tell 3 people that will keep you accountable. I told my husband, who literally is my biggest cheerleader, my mom, who thinks I could land on Mars tomorrow and like do anything in this world, and then my best friend. And so the 3 people, they knew and they kept me accountable when I started saying, well, maybe I don't need to quit. Maybe I'll just keep this side hustle. No. You have a date. You said you're doing it. Let's go. Like, you need those people in your life, but you don't need the naysayers. You don't need to hear why it won't work. People that are scared to do this on their own are going to tell you why you shouldn't do it. Exactly. So be careful who you tell.
Exactly. And they're well-meaning.
Yeah.
They're not in your brain. They're not living your life. They can't see what you can see is possible. And the last thing you need is their projected worry and concern your way. You need supportive people, because this is not an easy undertaking. It's a lot of work.
It is.
And let's not deny that it is, but you're working towards something that you're building. Wouldn't you rather give your best to you than somebody else's bottom line?
Right? Amen to that. Let's stop building somebody else's empire, and let's build a life that we've designed that we can be proud of. If you have kids, that they can see, their parent doing this and thinking, holy cow, my mom or my dad, they're incredible. Look what they're doing. Like, let's create a different life for you and your family.
Yes. Well, I love the book. I was sharing this with you before we went live. I read it and I loved it. And I so appreciate the simplicity of the way you laid it all out, truly step by step. Doesn't matter if you're not techie, you can create a website. It doesn't matter if you're not a good writer. Amy provides scripts in here for you. It just every step along the way. And if you this is a tool for you. Just don't read this book, implement this book.
Implement. Yes.
Yes.
In the book, I have a link that you'll find throughout with a whole library of resources. You're right. From templates to scripts to contracts that you might need when you get your first client, and tons of how-to detail. So beyond the book, I'll take you to a resource center that's free that
Yes.
will help you do this. I
Mhm.
wanted it to be as actionable as possible. So you're not confused or like thinking, what the heck do I do? No, I'll lay it out for you. Any kind of business you want online, this is how you build the foundation.
So good. So good. Well, we're going to put up a link for the book in a minute. It's pre-ordered. It's coming out in just a few weeks, which
Yes.
is so exciting. And also a link to your, we have another link for some of the bonuses that are
Yes.
coming
So
along.
if you pre-order, I've got some amazing bonuses that will help you get started. So a little extra thank you for ordering. For an author, pre-orders are everything. So for
Yes.
those of you who get my book, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, but I want to repay you with some great bonuses. So 2weeksnoticebook.com.
2 weeks notice. Okay. We will post that. Okay. I have to ask you a question. I ask all my guests, and I want to know, Amy, and if you could start it with I have today, since that's our tagline. How do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment, on purpose?
Yes. I have today to create the life by my own design. So that means that I choose to do things that light me up, and I say no to the things that do not bring me joy so I can live a very intentional life.
So beautiful. So well said.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me. I think you're doing important work in this world, and I'm glad I got to be a tiny little part of it today. So thanks again.
I'm grateful too. We're going to show the links right now for Amy's book. And again, it's called 2 Weeks Notice. And is there any final thing you want to say?
The final thing I'll say is that you can do it scared. I absolutely believe you can do it scared, and you have everything already in you to get started. So you deserve this, my friend. So let's go get it.
Okay. Thanks for being here, Amy. Appreciate
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So beautiful. Amazing. You got to get the book. You've got to get her bonuses, pre-order it now. Hey, team, can you put up the links for her, for the book and for the bonuses? This is for the bonuses, and then we'll have the link. And all of this will be in the show notes, by the way. Wow. Okay. Well, that was amazing. And what I want to share with you guys is that we just did an event on Friday. We've been promoting this, and I held the TV Star Intensive event last week to help women and men, a few good men, launch and start in their own TV show. And one of the things that Amy talks about in this book about, getting out there and being consistent with your marketing efforts, because you don't have to be everywhere, but you got to start somewhere, and you have to be consistent. And one of the things that's been so beneficial for me is being consistent with this TV show for the past 5 years, consistently doing it, consistently bringing you amazing people like Amy Porterfield and all the other guests that I bring you, and important, relevant content and topics to make your life better, for you to be living more intentionally. Because remember, if your life isn't coming from you, it's happening to you. So the event was amazing, truly amazing. And I think I'm going to do it again because it was so good. All right. Hang on one second. I got a tickle in my throat. Hate it when that happens. It is live TV. Hey, team, can you play the Spifter commercial so I can stop choking? Thanks. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. All right, I'm still joking. Oh my God, real life, live TV. Okay, so what I want to do is extend an invitation for you guys. So if you've been thinking, I want to get my message out in a bigger way. I want to have a greater impact on people. I want to leverage myself. I want to be able to create content once and use it over and over again. One of the best ways to do that is by hosting your own TV. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to host a webinar, a masterclass that's totally free, where I'm going to teach you how to launch your own TV show. And I'm going to share with you the 7 secrets. These 7 things must be in your television show. And I'm also going to share the top 3 mistakes that most people are making in this arena, with their videos, their shows, whether they're Facebook Lives or LinkedIn Lives or YouTube or over the air or over the top, wherever they are, that they're making. And so we're going to put up a link right now for you to register for my masterclass. It's Launch Your Own TV Show Masterclass. And the link is tvhostmaker.com, tvhostmaker.com. All right. So I hope you'll join me and register for the class. All right. So what we have coming up now is I'm going to share with you our weekly mantra meditation. And this is a chance for you to just stop what you're doing. If you're driving, you can listen to this, but for everybody else, just stop everything that you're doing. Be present with me right now so that we can really ingrain what we learned today. Didn't we learn so much from Amy? Isn't she amazing? She just dropped nugget after nugget after nugget. And I want you to be able to let this really sink in and penetrate and take it all in and see how you could potentially walk away from that 9-to-5, that job, and create financial freedom in your life by creating an online business, whether it's an online course, whatever it is. But get started with your own power in creating your own future, your own destiny, financial freedom beyond your wildest dreams, a life beyond your wildest dreams, like Amy was saying. All right. So what we're going to do, excuse me, is I want you to put your feet flat on the floor. I want you to put your hands on your lap right now and close your eyes. We are going to breathe in for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to pull that air all the way down to your root chakra, your tailbone. And then we're going to hold it for the count of 8. And as we're holding it for the count of 8, with each count, send it up to all of your chakras, the 7 of them, and then your soul star, which is about an arm length above your head. It's a very important quantum point. And then we're going to blow it out for 8, like we're blowing out birthday candles. Okay. So blow hard. We'll do that 2 times. You ready? I'll walk you through and then just listen to the words. Here we go. Close your eyes. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and blow it out for 8. Let's do it again. Breathe in for 4. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe it out for 8. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles, big and small, I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I have today to go from 9-to-5 to financial freedom. I have today to create any life I want because I already have all the knowledge. I truly have all the knowledge. I just need to figure out what that is. What are the skills, the results, the knowledge, the know-how that I already have, as Amy said? And then what do I want to do? Who do I want to serve? How do I want to make impact on people? Where are these people spending money currently? And then what lights me up? That was her 4-part formula. I can answer those questions. And I know that things are dropping in my mind immediately. I know what I'm really good at. I know what people come to me for help for. I already know. I can recognize the patterns. And now that I'm doing this process, I can start to think of ways I could build a business around this. Even if I don't know what I'm doing, there's now a guidebook that teaches me every single step. Every day that I don't live a life that I absolutely love is a day that I don't get back. I don't want to put my happiness, fulfillment, freedom, dreams, goals, and desires on hold another minute more. I want to feel lit up when I wake up every day. I want to jump out of bed excited about the day in front of me. I want to start this journey. I want to start knowing that as soon as I start, the sooner I will reach my goals, dreams, and desires. I don't have to have it all figured out. Many people have done this before me. I can surround myself with community to support me, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to go after my goals, dreams, and desires. I'm going to create the financial freedom I so desperately deserve. I'm going to make impact on people just by being me. The things, my talents, my skills that they want to learn from me. And every day that I don't go out there and do that, I'm letting them down. And I don't want to do that. Because at the end of the day, me not pursuing the life of my dreams, I'm letting myself down too. And that's just not acceptable anymore. So on this day and every day forward, I'm going to write down that big why. I'm going to believe in it a little more than I don't. And I'm going to make decisions from that and operate by 1% better every day, because that's all I need to do. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank my guest, Amy Porterfield, for being here. Her book is extraordinary, 2 weeks notice. We will have a link for you to pre-order now and then go to 2weeksnoticebook.com to get her awesome bonuses, amazing bonuses. And then tune in to us every week. Follow me on social media at Diane Forster Official and at I Have Today with Diane Forster. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.